What's up? The Merciless Ghosty back again. Here to review the new Predator movie Prey. Exclusively on Hulu. It just came out this past Friday, and I wanted to give everybody a couple days to see it before I reviewed it. It has been a long time since I have done any movie reviews on this channel. The last thing I did was the Scream franchise. I did those back in January, so if you want to go check those out, please do so. Expect a lot more of these coming out as we get more horror movies, especially around spooky time, coming, which is right around the corner. So there'll be a lot more movie reviews coming out. But overall, this is gonna be a hard one to review. I'm kind of having a hard time deciding which category to put it in. To me, it has a lot of horror vibes to it, so I'm gonna judge it based the same way as I would my other horror movies. So for those who don't know and who didn't see my Scream reviews, the way I've reviewed things are a little bit different. So the most important thing is the suspense, how you keep that suspense, and can you keep it throughout. Next up is the writing, which is pretty self-explanatory. The kill creativity, and the gore. If there's a nice balance between the two, then that's kind of what I'm looking for. And score, which is the music. So, where does this movie rank? Is it the best? Is it the best of the Predator movies? Is it the worst? Is it the best one since the original, or somewhere in the middle? Let's talk about it. So starting off with the suspense, I think this movie actually did a pretty good job with some suspenseful scenes with the main character. There's one scene where she's stuck in some quicksand, and she's kind of throwing the axe towards the branches to kind of pull her way out. And that was actually a pretty suspenseful scene for the most part. Of course, they did have the cliche of, oh my God, she's got 1 second to make it, and she magically, as she's like about to drown in quicksand, she magically throws the axe and hits the bridge perfectly, and then pulls her way out. So, of course, that was a bit of a cliche, but overall, mostly a suspenseful scene. There's one scene where the bear was chasing her, and she kind of gets stuck, and the Predator unintentionally saves her, and then lets her go. That was a little confusing because you weren't sure if the bear was actually going to get her, and if the Terminator, I was about to call him Terminator, Predator was actually going to kill her, and he just lets her go. So that was a bit confusing, but overall, suspense was good. The suspense overall was good. There's another scene where she kind of gets taken by this other tribe that's in the movie. I won't get too much into that because I know that that's probably going to be divisive, and there's going to be a lot of discussion about it. So I'm going to kind of leave that to everyone who cares about that kind of thing. But she kind of gets tied up, and her brother gets kidnapped, gets taken with her, and they're kind of trying to get information out of her about what she knows about the Predator, and they kind of sliced her brother up a little bit. And yeah, overall I thought it was pretty good. Some suspenseful moments, some cliche suspenseful moments, but overall solid. I'll give it a nice 7.5, solid 7 out of 10. Next up, we have the writing, and this is going to be the hardest one of these to rank for me. I'm really back and forth on it. Some things I really love about it, and some things that just kind of go, just do something a little bit different. So, I'm going to be honest. Outside of the first movie, I'm not really a giant fan of the other Predator movies. I have seen the second one. I have seen Alien vs. Predator. Past those two, I really haven't seen or don't remember the other movies. I think they've been pretty forgettable for the most part. But what I do like about this one is It is probably the best. I do like this one probably more than the second one or Alien versus Predator. I'm gonna have to go back and watch all the other movies and to give this a fair ranking. But overall, I like that they went back to a really grounded approach, even more so than the original. The original was like right in the smack dab in the middle of the '80s action craze. There was a lot of scenery chewing actors in that original movie. You have Arnold, you have Carl Weathers, who was Apollo Creed, you have Jesse Ventura, who's governor, mayor, conspiracy theorist personality, WWE wrestler. So he's a big personality. It's full of cheesy one-liners, full of cheesy 80s action, but it's overall a great time, and you can watch that now and really enjoy it for nostalgia reasons. But this one is even more so grounded. There isn't really a lot of cheesy one-liners or cheesy action scenes. It's very grounded. It's about this one girl who kind of wants to prove to her tribe that she's a worthy hunter. And she keeps getting, like, she's not as capable as the other members of her tribe as being a hunter. So she kind of goes off on her own for a bit to kind of show, and that's when, to kind of show that she can hang with everybody else. She wants to go out and get her own animals that she hunts. And that's when she kind of discovers the predator, and that's when she kind of turns into this hunter. She watches him, she studies him, she kind of gets him down before she decides to fight him, which I thought was a really neat take. And the predator didn't really see her as a threat, which kind of made her dangerous. The predator kind of targeted everyone else but her, which kind of gave her the upper hand on him in some moments. Even like towards the end, like, is finally when he started taking her seriously. But by then she already kind of had him down. She kind of knew his weaknesses and how to deal with them. So I think overall that was a good idea, good premise. The only problem I have with it is it's not original. It is not original. There's a lot of things that they do in this one that they did in the first movie, and one thing I did like is they didn't overly rely on Easter eggs and fan service of the original movie for this one. There is a line that is given that is one of Arnold's famous lines from that original movie, but it's not overly done. It was done in a very nice way that works in the movie. It's written in there well, and overall I thought it was solid. But this premise overall of this story of this girl who who's not worthy enough of her tribe and her fellow mates or whatever. This premise has been done. It's been done many times over. Mulan comes to mind as an example, and that's the only reason it's going to get bumped down. If they had done something a little bit more original with it, then I would give this a higher rating. But I really did like the fact that they went to a more grounded approach with this movie, even more so as opposed to the original Predator. So that's one thing that is going to give it a slight bump. I'll give it a solid 7 out of 10, but it should be higher. Had they had done something a little more original with it, I would have bumped it up a little bit higher. Next up, we have the kills, and the kills were okay. They were okay. Nothing. I wouldn't call any of the kills original. There is some ooh and ah moments. It's typical Predator weaponry, though. Typical, the 3 lasers. He's got the claws that he uses. He does some cool decapitations on some, like a wolf and a couple of animals. I would say, in my opinion, the best kill of the movie is when he kills the bear and he just picks him up like he's fucking Ultimate Warrior and he's gonna press slam him outside the ring. To me, that was the coolest kill of the movie. Other than that, everyone that dies is pretty forgettable. The All the side characters that die, meh, they die in pretty predatory type of ways. No originality, nothing really breaking new ground in terms of that. So they were average at best. I'll give the kills a 5.5 out of 10. There's not much else to say. And lastly, we have the score, which is the music. Some nice music pieces throughout. My favorite piece was the one where her and her brother are kind of running through the field from the predator, and the music is really boom boom, like really like loud and kind of really adds to the tension of that scene. Some solid music pieces throughout. Some of it is a little too boom boom. I get it. It's somewhat of an action / sci-fi movie, not supposed to be a horror movie, so the music isn't really supposed to be subtle. But for me, I kind of like that those little subtle type music sounds that kind of really add to it and don't really like dominate the screen. I mean, it's coming from the person who also loves the Halloween theme, so take that with a grain of salt. I'll give the music a 6.5 out of 10. It's there was some nice pieces throughout, but overall nothing that made me go, wow, that was amazing. So overall, Prey is a solid Predator movie. Just lacks a little bit of originality with story and kills. But if you're a big fan of that original movie, I definitely recommend checking it out. It's a solid popcorn flick. I'll give it an overall score of 7 out of 10. But let me know what you guys think down below. Are you a fan of this movie? Did you not like it? Are you not a fan of the Predator movies at all, and you just wanted to see a modern day kind of thriller type of movie? Comment below and let me know. Follow me on Twitter if you want to keep the discussion going. I'll be talking about it more as the days come. Stay tuned. More content coming soon. Peace. I'm out of here.